So I have one question about our sexuality.
Yes.
About what is happening in that time when we have the intercourse. What happened, like energetical, mechanical?
Well, your chakras are aligning. The idea of the kundalini is activated. You're connecting more energetically to more of yourself and more of creation in a variety of ways. You're activating different markers in your genetic structure in certain ways. A lot of things are happening. You're giving off energy bursts with your heartbeat that travel out at what you call the speed of light around the world and immerse people in that vibration of connection and harmony and integration. There's a lot of things happening during that particular experience.
Ah, that's interesting. Thank you. But as I am a tantric therapist,
yes,
I increase also in the sessions the people's energetic level or something is happening, as I understand, in a higher level also. But
yes,
what is happening in a higher level?
Well, it's not so much that there is more happening in a higher level, it's that you have more ability to connect to the higher level that already exists, that is a part of you. Okay, so there's more harmonization and synchronization with the higher frequencies.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
I wanted to ask if you could comment on the relationship between sex and the human soul, of wanting to understand what belief system you would advise for channeling this very powerful, amazing energy.
Sex
in a sexual way
is an alignment of all the different levels, thus then grounding the higher energy into physical energy in an aligned way and opening up channels within the body that allows for communication back to the higher level.
Beautiful.
It is the grounding of a circuit, the completion of a circuit, and thus then once the path has been defined, it is thus then the allowance of the lightning strike to align all the centers and allow for clear communication back to the higher levels. That's its fundamental function. The idea sociologically is simply this. What any individuals prefer, what they choose to believe is preferable for themselves, simply needs to be communicated to others clearly and concisely so that all individuals involved in whatever the relationship form is all know what the belief systems of the other individuals are and are all given the opportunity to decide whether or not for them personally what is being offered is true for them or preferable for them. Other than that, no judgment need apply. As long as there is consensus and consent among the idea of those that are capable of giving consent, then in that sense it is all for a positive reason. The idea of any so-called damage that has been done would require a deep understanding of the conditions and the belief systems that created the experience to begin with, and a sharing and a helping and an assistance to allow those individuals to learn from those choices and to choose other things that may result in more positive experiences.
The concept that she's explaining is that it's, as humans, we should only use sex to procreate.
Why?
Because any other use of it is extraneous. I don't know. I
extraneous. Why?
I guess you'd have to ask her.
The only thing that makes it extraneous is when there is not clear communication of all parties in a relationship and clear consent to participate in like vibration. If that is not what's happening in a relationship that involves sex, then in that sense it's extraneous. But it is not extraneous unto itself.
Yes.
It can be used in many ways beneficially for the alignment and raising of vibrations and bondings and connections that are extremely spiritual in nature.
Okay.
But it depends on how it's used and with what intention. If there is subterfuge, if there is clarity, if there is hidden secrets, if there is lack of communication, if there is intent to trick, if there is intent to dominate, if there is intent to control, that is extraneous sex. If it is all by consensus, if it is a play, if it is enjoyable, if it is by agreement, if it builds on each other and helps support each other and allows each other, or how many ever in the relationship, to discover more and more of who they are and supports that goal, it is being used in an appropriate manner positively in that way.
Okay, great.
At least that's our view.
I have a question.
Yes.
I choose to smoke every day.
Oh, all right. What are you smoking?
Cigarettes.
All right. And why do you choose this? No judgment, just why do you choose it? What do you believe it does for you as a permission slip? You understand it is a permission slip, right?
Yes, of course.
All right, so what do you believe it does for you?
When I do not choose it,
Yes?
I observe that I am extremely horny. There's an overflow of sexual energy.
All right.
And my question is, how can I use this overflow of sexual energy in a positive way to be of service?
Can you transform the energy where it is and when it is appropriate into other forms of creative expression?
Sure.
Well, then, does that siphon off some of the energy being expressed in a sexual way or not?
Sometimes it does.
And sometimes it does not? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know.
You don't know.
Yes.
Why wouldn't you know that? It's your body. Yes? No? Maybe?
Maybe yes. Excuse me.
All right.
Is there any specific information you could give me to...
When you have what appears to be an excess of sexual energy,
Yes.
go get laid.
I mean, besides all that.
Well, why besides that? Why not that?
Because my girlfriend is not around all the time.
All right. Then those are the times that you can siphon it into different creative expressions, yes?
Yes.
Or, of course, you can service yourself.
Yes. Can I ask another question?
We're not done with this one yet. We have a question for you.
Yes.
Do you paint? Do you draw? Do you write? Something like that?
I write and I design graphics.
Is there something you've been wanting to write that you have been hesitating to write?
Yes.
What's that?
That's a book about empowerment.
What's the hesitation to start writing it?
I don't know.
Oh, yes, you do. You're not going to get away with that. What are you afraid of? What are you afraid will happen if you go forward and write the book you say that you're really excited to write? What's the hesitation? What's the fear? What will happen? Come on.
Maybe
What?
that I can sustain financially.
So you have a limited definition of abundance because
Yes.
you don't allow your definition to be broad enough to support you in whatever way it needs to support you, which doesn't necessarily mean it will always be money.
Yes.
But remember that our definition of abundance is the ability to do what you need to do when you need to do it. Do you believe that you can attract whatever form of abundance you need to attract to allow you to support yourself in whatever way you need to continue to do what you need to do?
Yes.
Then why not allow that to be there so that you can do the thing that excites you? And by the way, doing the thing you say would excite you, writing this book, Certainly that's something you can do in some of the time that you have, yes?
Yes.
If you are, and here's the key, blocking yourself and creatively frustrating yourself, you follow me?
Yes.
You're going to build up excess creative energy that's going to want to express itself in other ways because you're not expressing the flow in the direction you would actually prefer to.
That helps. Thank you.
You understand?
Yes.
So get writing. Use that hand for something else.
Thank you very much, Bashar.
Thank you. I feel like I need a cigarette now.
Thank you. How might experiences of sexuality continue to shift and evolve as our consciousness evolves?
Well, in many different ways, perhaps, all the way up to what we experience now and beyond, where our activity sexually is no longer exactly physical, but more energetic in the creation of energy bubbles that interlink, overlap, and create a third life within the overlap. So it's no longer the physical act that it used to be for us, that it still is for you. But again, as you open yourself up in a fourth density, higher vibrational way, you'll be clearer about the reasons for the idea of expressing sexuality, and they will all be more in your expression aligned with the positive vibration and less aligned with the negative vibration. You will know perfectly the reasons why you may experience the idea of sexuality, and they will all enhance your ability to evolve forward in the fourth density reality that you're creating.
And that is, I've always had more of a separation than I would like between love and sex. I've never been able to put those two together in a way that makes sense to me.
In what way?
In that I can be sexual
Yes.
without a love connection, and I can be loving without a sexual connection.
Yes, well, what's so mysterious about that?
I would prefer to put the two together.
Then put them together. What's stopping you?
That's the question.
It doesn't have to be that way in every case, in every relationship. There will be some expression of love with sex. There will be some expression of sexual energy with love, but they can be expressed to varying degrees in a variety of ways depending upon what the purpose of the relationship happens to be. You have to allow the relationship to be what it is and not place expectations on what you think it should be. Then those relationships that are representative of the ability to experience both will simply naturally evolve, naturally happen, naturally come through synchronicity if it's relevant for you to experience that in your life.
Is that in our culture we have this romanticism thing
Yes.
that goes on where you're supposed to, quote, put the
Yes.
two together.
Yes.
And I'm wondering...
But you've just said it yourself. It's a cultural thing that you've been taught that you're supposed to do.
Right.
That should tell you right there that
That's a
in
big red
sense,
flag.
It's artificial.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily designed in a way that allows you to experience what the relationships are really for. It allows you to impose all sorts of expectations and assumptions on it that may have nothing to do with what the relationship is in your life for. But letting it be natural, those that then need to have it represented that way will be represented that way. It will come naturally. It will be a natural expression. You won't have to force it.
Some spiritual teachers, especially from the yogic tradition, have been teaching that desire is the root of all suffering. And they also teach celibacy as an important tool to achieve self-realization or enlightenment.
Yes.
Is there any truth to restricting sexual energy to be beneficial in that way? And also, what about this idea of the root of all suffering is desire?
The root of all suffering is resistance to the natural self. What they're kind of saying in their own language is that many times, because of negative and fear-based belief systems, people can become caught up in the desire for things in an overstated way. They can go too far. They can overcompensate. They might even go into the idea of addiction. But these things have more to do with belief in disempowerment than they do with the idea of actual sexual energy. Anything can be used in a positive or a negative way. So what they're simply saying is, don't do it negatively. Don't relate to these energies in a negative way. Now, for themselves, in terms of promoting these particular methodologies, this may have more to do simply with their belief system, that they may fear that if they don't impose those kinds of restrictions on themselves in the way that they choose to, in using that permission slip in that way, that they might have a fear-based belief that they would overcompensate. And so they're simply putting it out there that there may be other people like them who are holding on to fear-based beliefs that would cause them to go too far in one direction, so to speak, get out of balance in a way with those particular relationships of energy to themselves. So they're simply saying, if you have that particular belief system like we do, this can be of some assistance to you to do these things in this way. But still, with honest self-investigation, you can decide whether that technique is true for you, or whether you have a different way of handling your relationship to your own energy in a way that allows you to know that you will simply not go too far, that you will choose to remain in balance, and that you can use those particular ideas in a more balanced way.
Do you have thoughts on polyamory?
Whatever it is that someone is attracted to do that is in agreement by consensus with everyone else, as long as there is clear communication about what is going on with everyone so that they are making a conscious choice in those arrangements, then that's fine.
Is there a way to kind of transcend jealousy in those settings, or is that always a part of our human experience?
No, it is not. Jealousy means you think you're missing something. That you're not getting what you need. It is a poor me situation. I'm deprived definition.
Right.
So you're not trusting the way your life unfolds, and you're not actually living your passion.
Yeah. I finally met somebody who feels like a good match, but since that happened, it feels like I've lost a lot of my desire. It's almost like I was more into the chase than actually having. I don't know if there's any way that I can really drop in.
Then do an investigation about what it is you actually got out of that and the reasons for why you experienced it in the way that you did. You need some honest self-investigation about why you choose to do the things you do. So take some time to do that. Don't be in a hurry to do anything else other than figure out why you do what you do. That's what will help you the most.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
When people exchange sexual energy or even kiss, some people say that there's like a DNA transfer and that people take on energy from others. To what extent is that true, and how long does that energy stick around?
The idea is you are simply matching frequencies with the other being, and it sticks around as long as you desire to match frequencies with them. And then when you change your frequency...
Some people are very dogmatic about that.
I understand.
Do you have any perspective on the importance of gay, lesbian, and bisexual people and other queer people in that planetary evolution or ascension?
It is important for the evolution on your planet because it shows people on your planet that there are many different ways to express the soul and love.
And on individual levels, is there something more significant that we can cultivate?
Well, it can be. Yes, it can be, but we're going to leave that up to every individual who experiences it.
That was all of my questions, too. You answered every single one.
Thank you very much.
You're amazingly synchronistic, and I love you so much.
We love you unconditionally. Please move forward in your life in the best possible way for you, paying attention to why you do what you do. That's all you need to do.
Okay. I hope to meet you soon. I hope that all of our extraterrestrial friends can land and we can have a big party.
Someday that will be possible.
I look forward to it. Thank you, Bashar.
You are welcome.
Bashar.
Yes.
Can you tell me about masturbation?
What about it?
Good question.
Perhaps you will have to refer to masturbates to ask that question.
Is it a positive thing or a negative thing?
Do you understand the idea that anything and everything can serve both functions? Everything is fundamentally neutral. So the idea is that any act can serve either a positive or a negative effect. It depends on how it's used. It depends upon the intention behind it. It depends upon the alignment of energy in which the act is done, or the lack of alignment in which the act is done. Every circumstance can serve positive or negative results.
If it's based on your highest excitement at the time.
Well, then you know the answer, yes?
Yes, okay.
But the idea is to pay attention and have the discernment as to why it is actually being done. And I mean anything, not just the example you provided.
But the concept and idea of preserving the semen in your body and not releasing it give you more powers or energy or...
It depends on how you use it.
It depends on how I use it.
Yes.
But if I release it and I can still sustain that capacity of energy...
Have you ever gone to the gym?
Yes.
Have you ever run?
Yes.
Have you ever sweated?
Yes.
Well, you released a lot of water from your body. Didn't you need it?
Yeah.
Did it reduce your power?
For temporary.
And then what did you do?
Regenerated.
Thank you. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
All right, then there you go. You sweated it out for what you believed was a positive action, yes?
Yes.
You got positive benefits out of losing all that moisture from your body, yes?
Yes.
So you have to pay attention to the intention behind the act. If it is truly your excitement, then by definition it cannot harm you. The duty that you have is to be honest enough with yourself as to whether the intention behind it actually is positive or negative. Because many of you have the capacity to fool yourselves and think that you're doing something exciting when in fact it's not representative of your excitement. And vice versa.
So how do you know for sure?
You have to have honesty and willingness to explore and be honest with yourself about the motivations behind what you choose to do.
I see.
And if you are that honest and that willing, you'll figure it out.
I see.
I have a very specific question for which I'd like to go through some background, and you may stop me at any time.
Stop. Take you at your word.
All right. So, yesterday you spoke about a template level of existence just above our reality.
The higher self level.
In which the higher self resides, yes. At that level, it's been my understanding that energy exists. One of the ways of perceiving energy as existing is in geometrical shapes, geometrical patterns, fractal patterns.
Yes.
And in this level of reality, living...
You mean your physical level or the template level?
Our physical level.
Yes.
In our physical level of reality, everything is created in an approximation of that template level.
So to speak.
Okay. Now, so for example, would it be fair to say that you must be in form in order to affect form? You must be in manifest form in order to affect manifest form?
Not always.
Okay.
However, by being used to the idea of experiencing some level of manifest form, there is certainly a closer vibrational relationship that may allow for what you are referring to as ease of manipulation. Yes, in general, yes. It isn't an absolute that it must be so.
Okay.
It depends upon the level of cognizance of the consciousness, the reason for the interaction with physical form, and the agreements made.
And the agreements made.
And the agreements made.
Between your personality self and your higher self, you mean? Or between all beings existing in that?
Yes.
I see.
And any level in between.
Okay. Now, our consciousness is housed in, or perhaps this, correct me if I'm wrong, but our consciousness is housed in this vessel, right? Our bodies that we call our body. No.
Okay. Your body is housed in your consciousness.
I see. Okay.
It only appears as if your consciousness is housed in your body from a physical point of view.
Right.
The idea of your so-called spirit leaving the body is simply a physiological reality perspective of your consciousness expanding beyond the parameters of your physical manifestation. Mm-hmm. So the body is actually contained in the spirit. The spirit is not contained in the body. However, what the body does provide, and what is in a sense contained in the crystallized vibrational pattern of the physical form, is the mind. You understand?
Yes.
The mind, the physical mind, is the product of the physical form and is contained in a sense within it, but not consciousness itself. Make sense?
Yes.
All right. It is expressed through that, but it's not contained within the body.
So what I'm interested in is that expression and how that expression can be most effective, so to speak, how we can most effectively coherently channel energy from that higher plane, from that template plane into this physical reality.
Act upon your highest joy every given moment to the best of your ability. That's the formula, because that's the compass needle that aligns you to your true self. And thus, when you are acting on your highest joy, being in the vibration of your true state of being, your most natural creative state of being, that allows all communication between all such created levels to become far more homogenized, synchronous, and harmonious. Mm-hmm. Make sense?
Yes.
That's why we say following your highest joy is the driving engine and the organizing principle, not only of the things going on in physical reality, but of all levels of your being as well. It makes you a more conductive conduit.
Yes. In following my highest joy, I've become very interested, fascinated really, by the idea of, or the ideas of sacred geometrical expression.
Yes.
And creating physical objects in utilizing that knowledge in order that they best, or that they better...
that they best reflect that level of consciousness that expresses itself that way in the physical material experience.
Yes. In that search, in that exploration, let's say, I've come to find that one of the things that is used over and over, that comes up over and over, is the golden mean.
Yes.
That ratio.
Phi ratio.
Phi ratio.
1 to 1.618.
Yes.
Yes.
Now, by creating objects, like I understand that our body, our physical body is already built in that state, and therefore it is a perfect vehicle of manifestation.
Yes.
As you say, we come in with everything that we need.
Yes. It is a perfect resonator.
It is a perfect resonator.
Yes.
However, you still, from what I understand, your society still builds, for example, ships.
Yes.
In what is the purpose of that? Could you achieve that simply with your body, or are the ships acting as an extension of your body?
The ships are acting as an extension, and they are also for the purpose of interacting with dimensions such as yours that still require physical symbols.
Aha. How long do you foresee our dimension requiring those physical symbols? I mean,
about 1,000 of your years.
Okay, so because I am very interested in developing those type of technologies.
Yes, and many people on your planet have begun to do so.
Yes. So my question to you then is,
yes,
where do you recommend, how do you recommend I best? What's the source?
How to begin?
Yes, how to begin. Where to look?
Research now on what you call your internet system, anti-gravity lifters. Start there.
Okay.
You will find that these are constructions of very light materials, primarily what you call balsa wood and aluminum, being given electrical charges of high voltage. Mm-hmm. They will begin to exhibit levitation effects. And as you begin to grow in your experience and research and gain more practice with these and understand the effects that are being created, then you will gain more insight into how to take the next step.
Okay. Thank you for that. That interests me as well. However, I wasn't necessarily referring to only propulsional systems.
Neither am I.
Ah.
Because the principles are the same. For any kind of energy delivery system, it's just a matter of how you channel the energy that you're tapping into from higher dimensions as to what kind of an effect you create. Be it simply powering things, or creating ships, or opening dimensional gateways, or what have you.
Music.
That too, since it is all about resonance.
It is. So I have here an instrument that I brought. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it. It is called the hung.
Define.
Would you like me to show you, demonstrate?
By all means.
All right, thank you.
Just exactly what are you unzipping?
So this is this is an instrument. It's an instrument similar to a steel drum.
All right.
It is a steel drum.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
That's quite similar.
Yeah. It was created in the year 2000 by a Swiss man. Yes. Here you go. This is the hung.
Show it from the side. Bashar, it looks like a UFO, our definition of a flying saucer.
All right.
So, and here's how it sounds. Okay, now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, one of the things sometimes people will say when they see the crafts on your planet that you refer to as UFOs, sometimes they will be silent, but very often they will also describe hearing different kinds of resonant tones in association with the craft. People on your planet have assumed, because of the way your technology works, that the sounds are the result or the effect of the motivation of the craft, when in fact the sounds are the motivating force of the craft.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
Vibration is the key. And you are on your way to understanding this, quite musically.
Yes.
Understand that we have described the concept of moving from location to location in a different way than your people think of location. The idea is that location is not a place that an object exists in. Location is one of the properties of the object. And an object in location A is not the same object when it is in location B, because now it has the vibrational resonant variable of location B, and that makes it a different object.
Yes.
If the object in location A were suddenly engulfed and overwhelmed by the vibration equation that represents the object in location B, the object would simply have no choice but to move to location B instantaneously, because that's its new vibrational signature.
I see.
So if you make sure that the craft in that sense is very, very thin and light, so there is not that much material in it, and so that a vibrational resonance can easily overwhelm the natural vibration of its tendency to stay in one location, then it will have no choice but to take its cue from the new vibration and move.
I see.
Wow. Thank you.
Thank you. If I may, one more thing.
Yes.
So, in the as I said, I don't know if you can see this on a physical level as...
We can sense the energy involved.
All right, well...
We see it as an intricate, interwoven web of patterns.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, in as I see it, in a physical form, in its physical form,
yes,
it is very close approximation of a 3D rendering of the object known as a vesica Pisces, the intersection of two circles.
Yes.
I've theorized that if it were a more perfect rendering of that, it would increase its, let's say, efficiency, potentiality.
Your theory is correct.
I see.
Although there are variations depending upon the different dimensions that such a device may choose to inhabit.
Can you please clarify that?
Your dimension, in that sense, will look at the Vesica Pisces in a certain way, but in other dimensions, it will be of a slightly different shape, although to them it will appear to be normal, but to you it would appear to be distorted.
I see.
Because of the dimensional, vibrational difference.
I see.
Nevertheless, it is the change and shift in frequency that represents the distortion that allows the craft to go from one dimension to another. But you can begin with what you understand to be the perfect ratio for your reality.
Now, and so in that sense, would you still recommend that I research the same thing that you recommended?
I would.
Okay.
Because it still has to do with resonance, and there is still much for you to discover in that concept. Use what works. You don't have to use what doesn't. But there are bits of information in there that you will be able to add to what you are doing that will make a difference down the road.
Okay.
All right?
All right.
Does that help you?
That does help me.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good day, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
I am in very good contact with my spirit guides.
Very good contact.
Yes.
Oh, all right. Invite each over for tea now and then.
We hang out. It's great. And much of what you've imparted to us today has come to me in different ways along the way.
Yes.
And
all of this is available to all of you.
And there's one, thank you, yes. And there's one question that is challenging me, and I'm hoping that you can
all right.
clear it up.
What is your exciting challenge?
Oh, my exciting challenge is that I am unclear about how child abuse or abuse of, let's say, war in a country where innocent people in their home just going about their business are suddenly traumatized.
Yes.
And I would love to understand your perception of that.
I will give you 2 out of many reasons why such things can occur on your planet. All right?
Thank you.
Number 1. An individual, as a spirit, may choose to come into a situation where they know something like that may occur, so that they know also that the occurrence will allow itself to act as an example to others in that reality, so they can look at what their reality is like and decide to make sure that that never happens again.
Yes.
So that being will have, in that sense, endured that in order to function as a living example that can change reality and change people's ideas about how they wish their world to be. Secondly, when you are born into physical reality on your planet, because of the nature of the way consciousness has compartmentalized itself, many individuals will receive or get downloaded by their parents telepathically with their parents' fears, doubts, and so on and so forth, and the negative belief systems. When these are imprinted into the child and the child grows up without necessarily knowing that they are carrying these imprints, they may thus unknowingly attract themselves into situations that are representative of the negative fears that they are unaware of. And the negative situations that happen thus bring to their attention that they may have belief systems that would make it more likely for them to attract themselves into such situations than anything else. And that can act as an example for them to get in touch with that, so they can also change that situation for themselves.
Yes, I see that.
All right. These are 2 ideas of why such things happen. It is not in that sense a justification, but these things can still be used in a positive way to allow things to be different. If you use them that way, then they will have served a positive purpose. If you allow as a species this to simply continue on, then in that sense you will simply be caught up in your own cycle of self-perpetuation. But remember that regardless how difficult, drastic, abusive, heinous, negative many of these things may seem, and again, this is not a justification, it is not an excusing of the perpetrators, because it is up to each and every being to get in touch with their own source of power and understand that they do not need to do those kinds of things in order to express the power that they wish to express. The idea of the lesson here is to understand that these things only really happen on your planet because there is such a strong investment in disempowerment. And the idea is that people on your planet are not taught to believe that they are empowered. They are taught to believe they are disempowered. And when a person is taught to believe they are disempowered, they will rebel against it. And they will take as many people with them down their spiral as they can. Because they don't want to be alone. So it may actually be a distorted expression of love. Because if that's the only way they have been taught to express the idea of connection negatively, then they will express with the only tool they have at hand, destructiveness.
Yes.
You follow me?
I do.
So these are all opportunities for individuals to get a handle on the true core reasons why these things happen and allow the change to occur instead of going into victimization that again has to do with blame, complaint, and justification.
Yes.
Does this help you?
It surely does.
And one more thing, remember, and again, not a justification in that sense, not an excuse. From the spirit level, these things are extremely temporary. Have you ever had what you call a bad dream and then woken up and gone, oh, that was just a dream?
Yes.
All right. When you die and go into spirit, that's exactly what you do. Oh, physical reality, just a bad dream for a moment. It's not really who I am. You follow me?
Yes.
So there's that perspective too. And so from the spirit perspective, sometimes beings will understand that even though they know they may be becoming physical in a world that is somewhat chaotic and expresses itself somewhat abusively, they still know it is not really in any way, shape, or form permanent, and from their perspective, not really real. And they know, even though the idea of the physical mind and the higher self may experience the difficulty, it is still something that the soul can use in a positive way. And the idea is, again, to act as an example to the world, to bring it in front of everyone's face that if such things are the way of the world and you don't prefer them to be that way, then do something constructive about it. And that way things will change.
Beautiful.
Now, remember also that you're, as a world, pretty much near the end of the cycle of all the negativity. And so, in a sense, there isn't that much time left in which to experience the idea of negative reality. And so what you're doing now is getting it all up out of your system very rapidly, bringing it all out onto the table so you can decide what you do and don't prefer your world to be. Make sense?
Yes.
So the more actively involved you people become in the idea of helping to teach empowerment to people who have been taught disempowerment, the greater, faster, and more profound the healing will be. All right?
Yes, and I have another part of the question.
Oh, all right.
I feel like I vacillate between definitely being in touch with my higher self and then some of my domestications, which want me to have a reaction to the abuser.
Yes.
And so I would love to have clarification from you on though I could probably say it's best to send love and to be loving, there's a part of me that fears that if I don't sort of scold or something, that's not the right word, but have some sort of reaction to the abuser, that the abuse will continue. I just answered myself, but
yes,
you
instead of a
answer me too.
reaction, have a response. And allow the energy to be this if you're going to interact. That you understand that they are abusers because they have been abused. And they are only continuing a chain of events. The idea is to allow them to understand, if they wish to, that there is a way for them to feel empowered instead of disempowered. And that will help not only them, but everyone. Does this make sense?
It does. And
the idea of reacting in the negative way. For the initial 15 seconds, your angry reaction is a natural reaction, a natural response that gives you an energetic alignment so that you understand vibrationally that you are a vibration that is different than that vibration. It aligns you to where you stand.
Yes.
But beyond that 15 seconds, it then dissolves into judgment.
Right.
And if it dissolves into judgment, what you're actually doing is judging portions of yourself.
And then matching the vibration in
Yes.
yourself to the...
And that's what the phrase means, judge not lest ye be judged.
Yes.
It doesn't mean you're being judged from outside. It means that as you judge, you take yourself to that level.
Yes.
And that's not going to help anyone heal. It's only going to perpetuate more judgment, more abuse. Understand in that sense that it takes a victim to make a victim. You understand?
Yes, I do.
So when you don't look at them as victims, because that's how they look at themselves,
yes,
and you see them as empowered beings that have the ability to find their power and change, that energy is at least an offering to them of the best opportunity to give them a chance to change, not that they have to. You follow me?
Yes.
And we understand that on your planet, because of the nature of some of those acts, that you have your ways of dealing with these things. But that's only, and ever only will be, a temporary measure. And it will not break the cycle until you actually teach people how to regain their self-empowerment.
Yes.
So there are a variety of creative and imaginative ways that people are doing that on your planet. You can come up with your own way as well, or a variation on a way that is being done, and you can start at the child level, the intermediate level, the adult level, or all of the above. It's up to you as to what motivates you, what moves you, what empowers you to empower them, if they choose empowerment. But you can make it clear as possible, that that's the choice to make, and that the only reason that they feel the way they do is because they have been taught disempowerment, and that what they are doing that they think is representative of power is actually representative of disempowerment. And you can teach in whatever way works for you that the greatest power requires the lightest touch. Here's an example. You are familiar on your planet with the idea of building blocks, yes?
Yes.
All right. You can take building blocks and build a tower. And then you can take another pile of blocks and just scatter them on the ground. And then ask a person, what is easier, to build a new tower or to knock that one down? They will usually say, well, knocking that one down is easy. Yes. Why is it easy? Because destruction takes no power.
Wow.
It takes power to create.
Yes.
And in those kinds of imaginative examples, you can start to teach people the difference. You follow me?
Yes.
Thank you.
Do you mind if I ask you one more question?
Do I mind? No.
Do you spirit if I ask you one more question?
Go ahead.
We live in a paradigm where pity and sensitivity and compassion are necessary. I don't know, is pity necessary? Compassion is necessary. So when dealing with victims or people who have had abuse, it is expected that we react in a certain way.
Respond with compassion.
Yes.
Do not support the negativity with the idea of pity or sympathy. But empathy and compassion are empowering. Pity and sympathy are disempowering.
Yes, okay.
You see the difference
yes,
vibrationally?
I do. I have at times reacted. I'm a very compassionate person. I don't think I could not be compassionate.
All right.
And sometimes my reaction to people's pain, because I react in a different way than what's the general paradigm, has been considered
cold.
Yes, not cold, but offensive, because I like to use humor a lot.
All right.
And so
it is all right to exhibit compassion by also just sitting with someone. You don't have to take them out of their feeling. That's not necessarily compassion, because the acknowledgement of the feeling is the first step in changing it. You can't change what you don't own. So the idea is not to cajole them out of what they're feeling, but to truly be with them in what they're feeling in a way that can then gently guide them in another way, in an appropriate manner. If you rush to use humor to pull them out of the doldrum, you yourself may actually be scared of feeling what they're feeling and not wanting that in your reality, which means you're actually disempowering yourself instead of being able to know you're strong enough to be able to hold them in your energy arms while they go through what they go through, and gently coax them back into their empowerment when it's appropriate.
Perfect.
You follow?
I do.
Does that help?
Perfectly. Thank you.
Good day, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
My question today is on neutrality.
Neutrality.
Yes. You have mentioned that there is no right or wrong, nor good or bad, but instead negative and positive.
That which integrates, that which segregates.
Yes, which also can be stated as lower and higher vibrations. Negative being lower and positive being higher.
In a sense, yes, because it is integrative, thus exponential in that sense, whereas segregational is compartmentalization, which in that sense causes detachment and disconnection.
Yes, thank you. What I see neutrality as is a tool that allows absolute choice to choose what you prefer at all moments.
Yes, and thus you can understand, as we have said, that the universe is actually slightly oriented to the positive.
Yes,
because neutrality allows you to choose, which is a positive state of being. So in that sense, technically speaking, just to use some arbitrary numbers, the universe is actually 51% positive and 49% negative. Because the middle point, the neutral point, is not actually totally, absolutely neutral. Neutral in and of itself, by definition, affords you a choice, and that's positive.
Thank you. Well, my question is neutrality used to aid one to enlightenment, and is it in the aiding? I just
told you it was.
Well, I mean, is it in the aiding from third to fourth, and when one completely understands neutrality and is in a neutral state, does one ascend?
Depends on what you mean by ascend. It always uplifts your frequency, but if you're not done with your physical theme, you will not become non-physical, if that's what you mean, until you're done.
Well, does your society and beings on higher densities, do they still use neutrality?
Always. That is primarily what is used.
But are you only in bliss and there's no moments for you to use neutrality because there's no negativity for you to see?
In a sense, you might put it this way. Neutrality is the lowest state we ever go into.
So exactly. So for us to master it, then we will ascend.
Yes. Which simply means you will shift upward to whatever degree is appropriate for you at that particular moment.
Okay. You have mentioned to me before that there's a certain way of experiencing it, which was in a neutral bubble as an observer.
Yes.
How many different levels of neutrality are there?
There is only one.
Okay, so in that bubble, as seen an observer, seen from that view, is that one level?
If you are asking if neutrality can be experienced from different levels, the answer is yes. But neutrality itself does not, in a sense, exist in different levels. It is a level, in a sense, or a place, in a sense, or a vibration, in a sense, that any level can tap into.
Okay. And one question you didn't answer earlier, which was I wrote this down a couple of days ago, which was the test factor. Is
Yes.
When you make a change, you instantly start to test yourself. And does that go with every single change?
It depends. No. If you understand there is no need to do that anymore, you will not do that anymore.
Okay, but it works more and more on belief systems.
Yes, of course.
Okay.
It's just that, generally speaking, on your planet, your consciousnesses have been so fragmented and so compartmentalized that you have so many different belief systems to bring up that the self-testing may go on for a little while until you finally are willing to let go of needing that.
Well,
then you won't experience it that way.
Does the self-testing go on if you keep on reacting until you respond to the test, then you will pass it, correct?
Generally, yes.
Okay. And
Unless there is another underlying belief system that says the test will continue even if I respond.
Okay. And one last question.
Yes.
What is the highest vibrational music in our world today?
The highest vibration of a particular individual, you mean?
No.
Physically?
Vibrational music. Music with the highest vibration for uplifting purposes. Well, death metal can be a very low vibration, classical very high, but what's the highest?
I assume you mean physicalized music.
Yes.
One moment. It will, of course, within a certain range, depend upon the vibration of the person hearing it. We understand that there is a general truth to what you are saying about certain forms of music having higher or lower vibrational effects. But in terms of a high vibration, from our point of view, what you heard a while ago is one of the highest.
The instrument that was played earlier?
Yes.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hey, Bashar. Hello.
And to you, good day.
Thank you. So, you mentioned earlier about...
Speak up and be bold so that all may hear what you have to share.
You mentioned earlier about opposite ends of the spectrum, the reds and the violets.
Yes.
I've been experiencing in my dreams and in waking, I just see reds and violets popping up everywhere.
All right.
But just those two, the two opposite
That's
ends.
all right. In that sense, you are simply giving yourself representations of the polar opposite vibrations, in that sense bouncing back and forth between them so that you can achieve what we were actually just talking about with the last individual, a sense of balance in between and a state of neutrality that encompasses the entire spectrum.
Okay, cool. And
it's whatever temperature you want it to be.
And in my dreams, whether I accept that I'm dreaming or not, whenever I ask somebody if I'm dreaming, they'll deny it. They deny it. And when I'm awake and I ask someone that if I'm dreaming, they'll say yes.
All right.
Why, when I'm asleep, do they deny it, and when I'm awake?
Again, you are dealing with the concept of polarities and allowing yourself to find a place in the middle. You see, this is another example of what we have termed the watermelon seed paradox. If you have a watermelon seed and you squeeze it between your thumb and forefinger, hard as you can, it cannot go up, it cannot go down. You are faced with a conundrum you cannot answer, and yet you must answer. When you squeeze hard enough, the seed will shoot out in a new direction, neither up or down, but open a new doorway to a new way of seeing. So what you are doing is you're giving yourself paradox and conundrum that you feel you cannot answer, but you feel you must answer, and that will squeeze you in a new perspective, in a new direction. That's what you're doing.
Yes,
these are the games you're playing with yourself energetically to point you in a new direction.
That's great. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you.
That's it.
The question really is, why would you really need to know more than you need to know?
Hi, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
Well, the reason why I would probably want to know...
I
want to know.
Didn't say want.
Yeah.
I said need.
Need.
Remember that while sometimes wants can coincide with needs, that's very often not the case on your planet. Wanting can sometimes simply be the negative ego thinking it needs something to be happy when in fact it has nothing to do with what it needs. So watch the wanting, just be aware of that, and also understand that wanting is its own state. Wanting is not having. So the more you want, the more you remain in a state of wanting, not having. That's its own reality vibration. But if you know you always get what you need, the question is, why really would you want anything other than what you truly need to be yourself?
Well, with what you just said,
Yes.
if I feel like I have everything I need, and then if I was just to revel in that,
Yes.
then I may never really do anything.
That's not true. You will keep acting on your passion. You know, when we talk about the idea of acting on your passion, we don't mean you act on your passion to get things. You act on your passion for its own sake, not for anything you think it will bring you. But when you act on your passion for its own sake, you will always attract what you need to be able to continue to do so and expand your ability to do so. That's just par for the course. But you won't know that until you're there, because you won't know what you need for the next level until you actually move to the next level, because there's no point in knowing what you need for the next level until you're there. So it's all right not to know that now. You can feel like you have everything you need right now on this level. But if you find something that you're passionate about, even just the tiniest bit, act on it and see what happens. It might bring you something you didn't know you needed in order to be more of yourself. Yes?
Yes.
But?
Well, I guess I'm so used to living from my head.
Living from your head.
Right. Well, the beliefs that I have.
Yes.
Guiding my path in life, basically.
Yes.
I'm so used to that. Like if I think doing one thing is right,
yes,
and another is wrong, and I act on it, and that's
yes,
how I'm used to living.
All right.
So
but I'm not really talking about anything different.
Well, I haven't really paid attention to, for example, what my passion would be in life. I've kind of
No. You misunderstand. It's not about what your passion in life is. I'm not saying that your passion has to express itself as a life-spanning career or project. I'm talking about at every single moment, you have a number of options available to you about what you can do. Again, for example, we will assume that you're here today having this conversation because you were more excited about this option and acted on it more than any other option available to you at that moment. Yes?
Yes.
That's why you're here. So when this conversation is over, you look around at your life and go, let's see, what are my options? They don't have to be life-spanning options. Simple, everyday things. That's all we're really saying is how to start the ball rolling. It might expand into something bigger, but you start with what you can do. So at the end of this conversation, at the end of this day, you can say, well, let's see. I can take a walk, I can read a book, I can have dinner with a friend, I can make a phone call, I can see a movie, I can drive a car, etc., etc., etc. Just pick the one that's even just a little bit more attractive than any other, a little bit more exciting than any other, a little bit more of a tug of curiosity than any other. That's all you need to keep doing. Act on it with no insistence as to what the outcome should be, where it should lead, or anything. Just do the best you can and see what happens. That's how you build the momentum. That's how your passion will expand, but it doesn't have to feel that big at first. So, we assume that you will simply continue at the end of this day to simply choose to do the things that you are interested in doing. Yes?
Yes.
That's all there is to it. It's not a big mystery. That's what we mean when we say act on your highest passion. It can even be just this tiniest bit more exciting than any other normal, typical option.
Okay, for example.
Yes.
I was passionate about playing soccer in college.
Yes.
And I didn't continue to spend more time playing soccer because I wanted to finish my studies and get a good job, which I was also passionate about.
Why? Stop. Why? What's the reason that you changed? Was it really representative of your passion, or was it representative of a fear that something bad would happen if you didn't?
It was based on a belief that I needed a good earning job.
So what you're saying is you didn't believe that your passion could support you.
Yes.
Well, there you go, you see? You're not acting on your passion.
Right.
That's a perfect example of refusing to believe that your passion can support you because you don't have a complete definition of passion. Therefore, you didn't understand that if you actually allow yourself to continue acting on your passion, that in some way, shape, or form, it has to, by definition, support you unless you have beliefs that it can't. That's the only thing that stops passion from supporting any of you, is you have a belief that it's not possible for it to do so. Otherwise, you would see that it is capable of doing so. So you stopped yourself from acting on your passion with your belief system.
Well, but in retrospect, I'm happy with my decision at the time because I'm happy with where I am.
But you made the decision negatively, out of fear. You don't know that you wouldn't have wound up here anyway. The point is, if you're going to wind up where you have wound up, why not get there through joy rather than shortchanging yourself?
Okay, so what you're saying is that every action should come from a space of joy.
Yes, because that's your true self, and that will give you more options as to where that will lead. You will always go where you need to go, and if you actually truly needed to wind up where you say you're happy being, your passion would have brought you here anyway. You didn't have to make decisions that were the antithesis of your passion to wind up in a place where you're happy.
Okay.
So why not allow the journey to be just as enjoyable? Yes?
Yes. I just,
Yes.
Okay, I have a sense of responsibility, I guess, but you're saying then...
No, you're misunderstanding
all my
the point.
responsibility might be focusing on following my bliss and
yes,
my passion.
That is your true responsibility. And again, responsibility. Your ability to respond to your true vibration. That's what contains everything you need. It will bring you everything you need. You just have to know that's how it works, that's all. You don't have to second guess yourself. You don't have to take detours. Yes?
Okay, yes. What do you have to say about setting goals?
It's all well and good to have what you call a goal, a visualization, an image that represents what you consider to be an ideal outcome. But when the picture, when the goal gets you excited about the goal, about the visualization, about the picture, that's exactly the time to completely and utterly drop it. Because again, its purpose is to get you in the state of being that will actually attract what you need, because you don't know that the goal you've set or the picture you're visualizing is actually the best possible outcome. You don't know that. But your higher mind does know what you need. And it will always bring you whatever actually will serve you best, even if it looks nothing like your physical mind thought it ought to, which is very often the case.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
All right. So if you can wrap your mind around that and have a deeper understanding of how these things work, things will be more along the path of least resistance. You won't have to wonder so much about where you're going or why you should make this or that decision. And you won't have to make decisions because you think that this can't support you when it can. There are a myriad number of examples on your planet of things that many people would say, there's no way that could possibly support you in life, and yet there are people exactly being supported by those things. You can be too. You just have to decide to be in that group instead of this group. That's all.
Thank you.
It is important to realize that you don't have to learn to manifest. You're manifesting, obviously, all the time, or you would not be having any kind of a physiological experience at all. So you're always manifesting. This isn't about learning how to manifest. This is about learning how you already manifest, so you have more conscious recognition, more conscious awareness over the process, understand more clearly the mechanism at work, and how you actually transform concepts from a non-physical, higher level, higher dimension reality into the physical experience that you're all having. The idea begins, of course, with the formation of what we have termed the physical persona, the personality, that is composed of the definitions or belief systems and the emotions and the thought processes that then combine to form the behavior of the physical individual that you have chosen to be, to experience yourself as. But in creating the fundamental definitions that underscore that personality construct, that creates within your consciousness a certain resonance, a certain frequency. That frequency then is translated into your reality as what may be collectively called a state of being. That energetic state of being, that particular consciousness frequency, then radiates, in a sense, within your consciousness, ripples out from that center point, just to give it a focal point for you, physiologically, to relate to, and is reflected back. Now, that reflection is not actually happening, of course, outside you. It is happening, again, within your consciousness. But we're calling it a reflection for illustrative purposes to make it, again, easier to understand how the mechanism works, at least by analogy. That reflection, then, encounters something very specific. For you to experience the reflection in the way you do as the experience of physical reality, something specific has to happen. And this is where the manifestation space or the prime belief system actually comes in. This truly primary belief receives the reflection and does something very specific with it, changes the frequency, the resonance, in a very particular way that can be translated by the phrase, "This is real." Without that primary belief telling you that the reflection you're experiencing in your consciousness from the state of being you're creating with your definitions and beliefs, without that phrase, without that recognition, without that enhancement, you would not be capable of experiencing physical reality as if it were real. So manifestation begins in the physical experience with that prime belief that this is real. Now, as you expand your consciousness and begin to recognize more and more often that physical reality is your projection, is your construction, is in a sense an illusion and not really real, in the sense that it doesn't really exist outside of you. It is a construct within your consciousness. But by telling yourself it's real, thus then being capable of making it appear to be outside of you, making it manifest seemingly around you, in your life, in your physical reality. But expanding your consciousness starts to break that down, because you are starting to recognize and realize that physical reality is an illusion. You're starting, in a sense, not to pay as much attention, so to speak, to the prime belief that this is real. You will still pay enough attention to the prime belief, the manifestation space, to still have a physiological experience, But the idea of becoming aware that that's the way it works, and that's the way you reinforce the illusion by having the prime belief that allows you to buy into the collective consensus agreement that what you're experiencing is real, you can still make it more malleable, more flexible, even while you're having the physiological experience. It can become more slippery by allowing yourself a little bit of leeway to start breaking what we call the continuity illusion, the manifestation illusion, the prime belief illusion that this is real. Don't misunderstand, the experience of physical reality is real, but physical reality itself is just a projection, just an illusion, and isn't real unto itself without you manifesting that experience by telling yourself over and over again, every moment, that this is real. So when you begin to wrap your mind around the understanding that there is a specific space, a specific resonance point within your consciousness that we are calling the manifestation space or the prime belief that is reinforcing the idea that what you're experiencing is real, you can now begin to play with it a little bit more consciously. Again, not completely letting it go, but allowing it to be a little bit more plastic, a little bit more malleable, so you can begin to work with it in more conscious ways and allow yourself to begin to manifest the things that are truly more in alignment with your preference, with your resonance, with your true signature vibration, instead of manifesting things that might be out of alignment with it. This will also help reduce the amount of processes that you might need to arrive at any particular point in your life. By allowing things to work for you instead of believing that you have to make them work, you will allow this manifestation space, this resonant point within your consciousness, to begin to truly align with the fundamental frequency of your being, and in so doing, allowing physical reality as a projection to become a little bit more transparent to you as a projection, thus allowing for more slippage in your space-time experience and the breaking, as we said, of what you typically call continuity, where things can manifest much more rapidly, where there doesn't have to be as much attention paid to the concept of time or space in which manifestations appear to occur. So by just knowing and just visualizing and just imagining in any way, shape, or form that works for you, this resonance point within your consciousness, this manifestation space, this prime belief where you're telling yourself this is real, and allowing that to become a conscious, or at least more conscious, directive that you're telling yourself about the reflections you're creating within your consciousness, you can begin to see things start to break apart a little bit more. Things become a little bit more magical in their manifestation. The increase in synchronicity can be quite profound when you wrap your mind around and pay attention to the fact that you have that manifestation space, that resonance point within your consciousness that is constantly reinforcing the idea of physical reality as a real experience, as a real thing. So the more you pay attention to that, the more you're aware that that exists, the more you may, in your journeys through life, as you follow your passion to the best you're able, with no insistence on a particular outcome, actually find yourself capable of manifesting things that are far more representative and far more reflective of your passion, of your joy, of your synchronicity, of your being, of your creativity, of your love, of all the different ways that you might choose to express yourself in positive and constructive ways within your life, by knowing that you're the one that determines whether something really is real or not. Now, again, there is the consensus level to this, where you will not necessarily let go of all that you have agreed to in terms of playing this game called physical reality on Earth. And certainly, you can relax some of your agreements, however, with the consensus to start allowing whatever it is that is more representative of you as an individual to begin to appear in your life, to begin to manifest in ways that serve you, while knowing that when you do that, you are actually also serving the whole, serving the consensus agreement, because it's about becoming the piece of the puzzle picture that you were created to be more clearly. And just being in that shape
will allow other pieces to also simply be the shape they were created to be, so that all the pieces fit together more seamlessly, more harmoniously, more effortlessly in that way. Now, again, the idea of manifestation, as we will remind you, please understand again, as we have just described, it is not something you're doing in terms of bringing something from somewhere else to where you are. Everything is here, and everything is now. Much of it might be invisible to you at this moment, and that's all right, because it's operating on a frequency that is representative of someone that you are still in process of becoming. And as soon as you become that person, as soon as you match the frequency of that invisible thing that is already here, then you begin to perceive it. So this idea of wrapping your mind around this manifestation space, this resonant point, this prime belief, this is real. As soon as you start really playing with that and start recognizing that that exists within you to reinforce the reflection, much more often with your awareness, then you will see that the manifestations will occur automatically, because you're simply shifting your vibration and recognizing what has always been here that is relevant for you to experience in your life. And it will always appear in perfect timing when you are focusing on that resonant focal point and knowing that you're the one telling yourself that this is real, this is real, this is real. But the awareness that you're telling yourself that, paradoxically, does a little bit of just the opposite. This is an illusion. This is an illusion. This is an illusion, because I have to tell myself this is real in order for it to be an experience. If you didn't have to tell yourself it was real, then yes, it would be real in the classic meaning of that term. But because you actually have to convince yourself it's real, that tells you that it's not real. It's an illusion. The proof, in a sense, and we know that sometimes you don't necessarily think about physical reality this way, but the proof, in a sense, is as follows. We have talked about the idea that you are really an indestructible, eternal, and infinite being, and that everything exists here and now, which means you do too. That there is really only a single moment. There is really only a single spot. That means existence, in a sense, is permanent. The fact that things in physical reality are not permanent should tell you everything you need to know about the fact that it's an illusion. That's why it breaks down over time. Because it is an illusion, because things that are actually real, like your existence, never change. They're permanent. So the very fact that you see things break down over time, disintegrate over time, get worn over time in your physical reality is a sign that what you're dealing with isn't real. That you have to actually work to maintain it over a period of time by convincing yourself that it's real. But over time, that loosens its interest. It loosens the bond. You start to recognize, as you become more aware, that physical reality is not real. And that's why, even within the consensus, things start disintegrating, deteriorating, falling apart, because you're the one that has to hold it together to perpetuate it. So the very fact that physical reality is impermanent tells you it's not real. You're the one that's maintaining it. You're the one that continues to manifest it. And the changes that occur are the changes that are relevant for you to understand, in whatever way it's important for you to understand, that physical reality is just a projection and it's not something that needs to last. But you will, because you exist and you have that fundamental quality of existence. Is this making some sense to all of you? Yes. All right. So let your mind just sort of ponder the idea of the manifestation space of the prime belief, where you are taking reflections created by your belief system and using the prime belief to convince yourself this is real. And by realizing that you're doing that, letting yourself relax the reality factor so that it can become flexible enough for you to begin to allow it to align with your fundamental vibration sufficiently to begin to experience manifestation on a whole new level.